I've had some words flow into my mind, and they flowed in at 9:40 a.m. this morning, and this is a message. But yes, this is the truth. This is the truth, you all. This is what we're facing. So I've shared it on the Facebook. I've shared it on the YouTube. In the community section, I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to read it. I'm going to show you. You can see that this was on the community section right here. And I'm going to read what was flowed into my mind, okay? And it's true. It is true. If you take a moment to think up here, it's true what's happening. Good morning. Good morning. This is the message. These are the words. This is what I have to say. Oftentimes in our life, we tend to overthink situations, people, places, and things. There are times when the mere thought of the worst case scenario overrides the real world. But yet, when we let the thought of the worst case scenario become the dominant thought within our mind, a lot of things start happening and they're not good. Before too long, we began to believe the worst thought scenario and start basing our actions from that mere thought. Could it be that we live in a day and age where our thoughts have been hijacked by thoughts that are not our own, but come from somewhere totally different? I'm sure many of us have had thoughts enter into our mind, and we hold the thought captive because it's not our thought. So before we jump to the worst case scenario conclusions, we should really hold those type of thoughts captive and examine them with the real world. Could it be that we sometimes blow everything out of proportion when there is no need to? Could it be that there is some invisible force out there steering us in the wrong direction to keep us from moving forward in a positive way? The world that we live in has become like this, and we need to stand guard and be aware that this is way beyond the norm right now. The world has been turned upside down, and our thoughts may not be our thoughts, but may be implanted by the darkness. May the peace that passes all understanding fill your heart this day. Oh, my nose is itching. May you find the strength and the wisdom to stand up against the darkness that is waging war against our minds. Love you. My nose is itching all of a sudden. Oh, this is these are the words that flowed in, and they're right here in my community section 515. Is good morning, everyone. Love you too, Gators and Fly Sky. Michael, Jennifer, good morning, and Nadine, good morning. Yeah, you are. There's something. Have you noticed your thoughts now? You know, like a thought may enter your mind and you think, where on earth did that thought come from? I don't think like that. And we know that they have technology out there that can read your mind. And they have skull to whatever stuff also. But this was what came into my mind right now, like at 9:40. So at 9:40 a.m., those words float into my mind. It's a message. It's a reminder. You need to hold your thoughts captive in your mind because they may not be your thoughts, especially if it's on the worst case scenario and that worst case scenario takes over your mind and you begin reacting and based on the worst case scenario that has not even happened. Has not even happened. That's yeah, this is it's kind of wild. It is. Gina, no, it's not. Listen, those type of thoughts that get in your mind, they not only have an impact on you, they have an impact on those around you. They have a domino effect. When the worst case scenario thoughts take over your mind and become the dominant thought, even though it is not matching up with reality, it's going to have an adverse effect on you and others around you. It's going to be a domino effect. You've got to keep those thoughts, especially if they're not your thoughts, but they crept into your mind and you claim them, or something claimed them as your thoughts when it's really not your thoughts. And no. You might say, Gina, I just tuned in here. What are you talking about? You'll have to listen to, I got something to say. It's a message that came in about the thoughts that enter your mind, about the worst case scenario. It starts with one mere thought. And that mere thought becomes the dominant thought in your mind. And it literally can turn your world upside down for the worst. For the worst. You've got to be very, very careful. That's right. The enemy is doing this. And it is the darkness. It's the darkness. And there are people out there who think there's no such thing as the darkness and invisible force. What are you talking about? Just what I'm talking about. It's spiritual, and it's beyond this 3D world, this realm. It's this is, you can't see it. You cannot physically see it. You can't physically see the thought. But that thought has the capability, once it like drops into your mind, it literally gets dropped into your mind. And you will think the worst case scenario concerning situations, people, places, and things. It's a very, very negative thought because remember, it's the worst case scenario. And if you're trying to grow spiritually, if you're trying to be the best you, and you have something like that come in your mind and you don't hold it captive and look at it and look around and start thinking outside the box instead of just taking that for, oh, well, it entered my mind. That really must be what's happening because it's entered my mind. You're causing yourself a great injustice. And you're doing a great injustice to those around you. You are. You cannot believe all thoughts that enter your mind. You can't. Because some of those thoughts, they don't come from God. They don't. They come from the enemy, the darkness, aka Satan, Satan, the devil, whatever you want to label it as. It's destructive. And when you entertain it, the destruction begins. It begins inside here. It starts spreading to outside there, and left unchecked, that destructive thought will end up destroying you and everything around you, spiritually speaking. You've got to get those thoughts out of your mind, especially when they come out of nowhere and you start dwelling on them and dwelling on them and dwelling on them, because they're going to grow. They're going to grow. You got to grow larger than those thoughts. You've got to take control of the negative thoughts that enter your mind. You've got to. You're not going to survive. You won't survive it. You won't, because they're destructive. This is serious. It's really serious. Starts with one mere thought. The worst case scenario. Where did it come from? Where did that thought come from? Because it didn't line up with reality. It did not line up in the here and now. There was no fruits of the worst case scenario happening. None. None. But yet the thought got in there, and that thought started producing bad fruit. Bad fruit. This is spiritual warfare, is what it is. I'm going to go. You can read the words that I put on the community section of this YouTube channel. These were the words that flowed in. They came in at 9:40. They ended at 9:40 a.m. this morning, and they're in the community section. So I'm going to go, and thank you for coming to this YouTube channel. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you for joining. And please give this video a thumbs up. They're getting into people's minds now, the darkness is. And if you're not careful, there's going to be a lot of trouble in your mind that's going to manifest into your real world. So may the peace that passes all understanding fill your heart this day. And hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your morning. Do not let worst case scenario thoughts grow in your mind and manifest in your world. Don't do it. You'll be really sorry. You will. And Gina, is that a warning? That is a warning. It's not good. It's not. Love you.